Okay, episode 2, here we go. I'm Lorna, and this is the With Love Lorna knitting, and I think I'm going to call it a knitting and sewing podcast. I'm back a little bit later than I said I would be last time, but work and life got a little busy, and I haven't quite gotten as much knitting done. I thought I hadn't, and then I went to start getting ready for this episode and I realized that I really have done a lot of knitting. But it's nice to be back talking to all of you. If you are new, then welcome. If you're returning, I guess after one episode, then thanks for being back. I loved all the comments. I'm working on getting back to all of you. Thank you for all the suggestions regarding that tank top. I actually ended up doing the dye that I was talking about with toothpicks, and it didn't quite take as well as I thought it would, so then I duplicate stitched over it. It blocked nice, and my friend said that she couldn't even tell where it was bleached before, so that's great, and thank you for your suggestions. I guess we'll jump right into it. I am wearing not any knitted things. It's definitely cooled down since the last time I talked to you guys. Last time it was like 90 degrees. I think today is a beautiful 70, 75, but not quite cold enough for a sweater. But I am wearing a handmade object. So this is the square neck top by Friday. I think it's Friday Pattern Company. It's knit in sort of a woven fabric that has, you're not going to be able to see it, but little tiny navy details, navy little crosses on it. I have a couple of these tops that I've made from this pattern. I think they fit really nice under cardigans, and then they're good just to throw on with jeans and for work and all that good stuff. So I have a couple of these. I'll probably make a couple more, probably a lot more, just because it's a nice substitute for a plain t-shirt. It feels a little bit dressier than that, but still easy to wear. So that is this top. As far as finished objects, I finished a couple things since last time. So first is the Emma top, which is like the last of my summer knits. I was telling you guys last time, it felt like I casted this on right at the end of summer, and by the time I got halfway through it, I was ready to be done knitting sort of cotton summer tank top patterns, but I finished anyway, and I have gotten to wear it before it got a little colder. So this is the Emma top by Susanne Müller, and it is knit in Cascade Ultra Pima cotton in the emerald colorway. I really like how it fits. It's like baggy, has some positive ease, but not too much, and it's really drapey and floppy. It was cool on a summer day and then sort of warm on a summer night. I think I'll get a lot of wear out of this, but it's probably gonna be put away after a couple weeks for this summer, because I don't really see myself wearing this in the winter, even if it is under a cardigan or something like that. But I do really like it, and it'll get a lot of use come spring. So that's that finished object. It's a great, I really like how the seams go on the top here. I thought it looked really neat and finished. The only thing that bothers me, and I'll probably crochet over it, is sort of the between the two cups is this area where it's a little loose, which was probably my own doing by not pulling it tight enough between the two. But I really am happy with this, and I think I'll get a lot of wear out of it in warmer weather. Probably maybe 1 or 2 more times before it gets put away for the winter, but a good wardrobe staple, and I'm glad I finished it and just didn't put it away for next summer, because we all know that means that it will never get done. So that is the first finished object. Second is I had talked about sewing some pants last time, and so these are the free range slacks by Soho 7. I printed the pattern, cut it out, and put it together, and it is in some turquoise linen that I had bought at a fabric warehouse back home in Minnesota. It has these like really cool side panels, which I think makes the fit really nice. If you can see, there's this like a panel on the side. It has pockets, everything you need in a good pair of pants, and elastic waistbands. They're nice and relaxed. I feel like they're a relaxed looking pant, but still look dressy. And then this was maybe my first or second time doing French seams, so because they're designed to be rolled up on the bottom, they should look nice when you roll them up, and so this is what it looks like on the right side. And then when you roll them up, it looks like that. So it's still, I don't know, the light is changing so fast. It still looks nice and finished for when it is rolled up like that, like a little rolled cuff. I really like these. It's not super easy to show you pants on a podcast in this sort of format, but I'll take finished object pictures and put it on my Instagram at some point. But I'm very happy with these and can see myself making a couple more pairs in the future, probably another pair in linen, and then I was thinking like a lightweight wool would be really nice for winter. I think that'd be really cozy and comfortable and still dressy enough for work, but with the elastic waistband, which is really, when you're used to wearing scrubs all day, any sort of work pants with an elastic waistband is ideal. So I'm very happy with this pattern. It fits nice. I feel like sometimes sewing patterns are so like made for people without hips or thighs, but these ones, because it's a little bit more generous, there is room for, you know, your body. That was really strange. I got cut off for a second, but I will be making more of these pants. Probably another pair in linen and maybe in wool, I think would be nice for the winter. So very happy with these. And then my last finished object, which I was kind of on cruising to get through after our last episode, is my Ranunculus, which I'm so happy with. I knitted in Illimani Royal one. It's 100% alpaca in the bone colorway, and I think it's going to be really nice to pair with these pants sort of in the fall and in the spring. And I didn't really make any adjustments at all, so I love how this blocked out this top part and the lace patterns, and it's a little bit cropped but not too cropped. And then for the sleeves, I did the long sleeve version, and then it has this sort of really quick little decrease and an I-cord edging, which I just think looks so finished and sweet. I made it about a 3/4 length because I didn't want it to be too long. I didn't want to have to push up my sleeves. And I knew it was going to be sort of a transition piece for me, so it doesn't need to be long sleeve to be super warm. I'm really happy with it. The alpaca is nice. I feel like you get that effect of holding mohair with a yarn, but you don't have to go through the trouble of holding mohair with a yarn. And it's still nice and soft and has this like beautiful fuzz halo that I love. So this will be a very cozy piece for fall and spring, and it's absurdly soft. It's so soft. And so I'm very happy with this too. And it's the Ranunculus that everyone's heard of by Knit Cafe Midori, and I'm sure I'll be making more, probably one for my mom or something in the future. It went so fast. I think I did it on size 8 needles, and for a sweater it took me a couple weeks, so good deal. Very happy with it, and the yarn is incredible and very soft. For my works in progress, I have 2. Last time I had talked about this as being something I wanted to cast on. So it's the Penelope tee by Julie Robinson, and last time I had talked about using one of the yarns, but then I changed my mind after swatching for the other yarn, so I'm actually at the end of a skein now, but it is the Queensland Rainbow Beach color, or Rainbow Beach yarn that is sort of looks like a spin cycle, like barber pole sort of yarn, mimicking the look of a hand spun. And I was going to use a green colored skein from Nerd Yarns, but ended up thinking that it was a little bit too much of a contrast. So, and I wanted something to tone down the color changing of the Queensland, so I ended up picking up some Jamieson and Smith in this like toffee colored sort of, there's a mix of yellow and red heathered in there, brownish toffee yarn, and I think that has played really nicely with the color change. So this is what I have so far. It's showing up a little bit more. I've had a hard time with this when I send pictures to friends or my mom, but on camera I feel like the stripes look a little bit more stripy than they actually are. But you can see in there's like the sort of the constant of that more neutral yarn with the color changing yarn in the background. It really does look different in real life, I think. Like a little bit less of a contrast. I just got to splitting, so I'm working on the back here, and then I'll go to work on the front. I think I'm making it turned out a little bit bigger than my gauge swatch was, so it has some more positive ease. I think the pattern recommends 0 to a negative ease, and mine might be a little bit big, which is okay with me. I can definitely see myself knitting this pattern again. Again, it's a transitional piece, so this screams fall, and I might make more of a spring version with some pastel colors or something like that. Maybe not a color changing yarn, maybe 2 solid yarns and doing it that way. I'm really happy with this. I'm excited to see how it turns out, and I think it's going to be a great fall thing to walk around in and drink a coffee when the weather gets a little bit colder. I'm making the 3rd size, and I guess I can't really talk about the fit for now because it's knit bottom up, but I'll talk about that hopefully next time when I finished it. I'm hoping to finish it in time for Rhinebeck. I'm gonna go with my mom. She's coming for the weekend, so that's in a couple weeks. I'm gonna go to Rhinebeck with my mom and hopefully be wearing this and do all the fall things and touch all of the wool, and yeah, that'll be awesome. So that is my first whip, and then my second whip is kind of a just mindless work project that I wanted to be able to work on, because this is a little bit more involved. And so it is the ribbed hat, which is a free pattern by Purl Soho, and I cast it on with some yarn that I had in my stash, which is also Purl Soho. I've had it for a long time, so I think that it's the Mulberry Merino, and it's in this white and gray, and you can never have enough ribbed plain hats in your wardrobe, and so this is that. I'm excited to have it finished for fall, and it's super fluffy, as you can see, and super soft. I don't have a whole lot to say about this. I've made a couple of these, some of them as gifts. I had one myself and it stretched out a little bit, and then I went to go block it and I accidentally put it in the dryer, and we all know the story, it shrunk, which is okay because it was kind of unwearable with how big it was. So I'm making the adult small size now and using a needle size smaller than I did last time, and hopefully it stays wearable for longer. If you have any tips as to how to keep ribbed things ribbed and not so stretched out over time, especially a hat that's like constantly getting stretched to put on your head, let me know, because I think that's a struggle with this. I think maybe just using a yarn that isn't superwash, but then it makes my forehead itchy. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, but this is sort of my chug along while I'm at work or sitting on the train sort of project, nice, mindless, keep my hands busy. Some of the other whips that I had talked about last time, so my half and half wrap and my sweater for my roommate, I have not touched either of them since. So I'll show them when I have a little bit more accomplished, but I would just be saying the same thing, so I'm not going to talk about that today. And then as far as future cast-ons, something that I feel like I'm seeing everywhere, not only in knitting fashion world, but just fashion world in general, is lots of vests this fall. And so of course I want one. And I have this yarn in stash, which is the Mulberry Merino from Purl Soho. I think I picked up 3 skeins of it on sale one time when the store was open, which I miss and I wish they would reopen. in Soho because it was just fun to walk around for the day and then go to a beautiful yarn store and buy yarn. But it's probably better that it's not open, I guess, because I'm buying less and I have a lot of yarn. So this is the color High Tide, and again it's the Mulberry Merino, which is a blend of merino wool and 20% silk, so it's very soft. And I'm thinking I'm gonna make, I have 3, which is just enough for a vest, or sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties today. I was saying I think this is just enough for a vest, or maybe a little bit more. And I am thinking about making the Friday slipover by Petite Knit. I'm just having a debate over, do I want mohair in it? Do I not want mohair in it? I've kind of placed myself on a yarn buying ban until I go to Rhinebeck because I know I'm gonna buy yarn there, and I'm thinking no mohair because it's already so fluffy, like not so fluffy, but fluffy and soft without it. But that's my current debate. And I think this is gonna be my next cast on, because once I get through some of the shaping on that, it's just gonna be straight down ribbed, broken rib pattern, which will be nice for work for when I finish my hat. So this is something I'm very excited about and will be cast on very soon. As you can see, it's a color that clearly I gravitate towards because it's the exact same color as my couch. You know what you like. And that, I haven't cast on the Elsk dress yet, which I know I said I would last time, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Life's been a little crazy, and I haven't cast on anything else yet either. I know I talked about making animals for my friends and things for their babies, but I haven't quite done that yet. The time crunch is coming because those babies are going to be born soon, but we'll get there when we get there. As far as acquisitions, I have something very exciting. I got the Lina magazine last week. I didn't really even look at the patterns before I bought it. I just knew that I wanted it because this car on the cover reminds me of the car. It's not the same, but it reminds me of a convertible that my dad had when I was little, and I just wanted it. But there are some really lovely patterns in it, so things I'm thinking about making soon, which clearly I'm behind on my making plans, but aren't we all? I had bookmarked them. So I really like the ginger sweater, which you can see. It has like a beautiful ribbed pattern in the front, sort of basket weave, and it's knit from side to side, which I've never done before, and I want to try it. And of course the car is heavily featured in that picture. And then there's another pattern, is the Fairy Dreams cardigan, which I think would just be super wearable with jeans like it's pictured here. I'd probably wear a shirt underneath it, but also over a dress or something nicer for work. And then a third pattern that I really liked and could see myself making soon was this lace pattern t-shirt. I was kind of wondering if I could get away with using Holst Super Soft because it's a very light fingering weight to make this, because this is knit with a lace weight baby yak yarn, but I don't really want to knit with lace weight if I'm being completely honest. So maybe knitting a size or 2 smaller than I normally would and using the Holst Super Soft would be a good alternative. And so I'm very excited about this, and I haven't bought any other yarn besides the Jamieson and Smith that's going in my Penelope tee, again, because I'm getting ready for Rhinebeck to go with my mom, and I've kind of told myself I would buy a sweaters quantity while I'm there, so I'm going to be looking for that. And then one upcoming project that is sewing related is, I'm sure everyone has seen sort of that like fleece button up. It's sort of like a flannel, but it's thicker and made of wool, and it's a jacket. So I bought the pattern from Style Arc to make the Logan Shacket, I don't know, shirt jacket. And I have this, it's up in my closet underneath a bunch of bins, so I'm not going to get it down. I'll show you next time. Is this wool that is sort of like a, very similar actually to this color, the color of this yarn on one side, and then it's mixed with hot pink. And so one side is predominantly this color with hot pink plaid, and then the other side is pink plaid that has thinner stripes of this. And I thought it'd be super fun to do the pockets in the mostly brown, and the back, there's like a back shoulder piece, to do that in the mostly brown, and then have everything else be the mostly hot pink. So that's my big sewing plan. I'm just waiting for the pattern. I bought the copy shop printed version just because printing it and then taping it together takes so much time, and when I have a day off that I'm able to sew, I don't want to spend it printing and taping a pattern together. I'd rather spend it sewing. And so that is my next big sewing project plan. And I promise by next time I will have cast on the Elsk dress from the Shetland Trader book, because I really do want to get started on that so that is feasibly finished sometime this winter, and I'll be able to get some good wear out of it. Last time you guys left some lovely comments, and I realized I forgot to ask everyone to share sort of what they're knitting on. I'd love to know. When I watch a podcast, I sit and I knit and I work on projects, and it just makes me feel like I'm talking to another knitter, which is really why I started this podcast in the first place, was to have more of a community with other knitters, because as a younger person who's busy at work, I don't always have time to go to knitting events and things that I wish I could. And so if you could share in the comments what you're knitting on. Thank you everyone last time for their suggestions about the tank top. And I guess I'll catch you next time, probably in about a month, which would be after Rhinebeck, so we can talk a lot about that then. And if you're going to Rhinebeck and you're out and about and you see this shirt, come say hi, and I'd love to meet you. All right. Enjoy the cooler weather and fall and the beginning of fall and all the lovely things that has to offer. I always feel like there's so much to fit in such a little amount of time. Enjoy your knitting and have a good couple weeks.